And they called it retrieval. She called it kidnapping. The story opens in a sterile alien tribunal chamber, deep within a neutral starport orbiting galactic space, the kind of place where laws feel colder than space itself. Anna Monroe, a fiercely protective single mother from Earth, stands trial before a dispassionate panel of alien judges. Her 10-year-old son, Eli, is accused of being biologically unique, a genetic anomaly of interest to the wider galaxy, and, under the authority of Galactic Accord, subsection 19b, must be removed from Earth and raised in an off-world facility for study, surrounded by emotionless beings who cannot comprehend the human concept of motherly love. Anna's cries, pleas, and arguments are met with silence and protocol. The tribunal rules swiftly. Eli is to be taken. As he's led away, Anna pulls him close and whispers, a promise that cuts through the clinical air like a blade. I will find you, no matter what they call it. It's the emotional ignition of a mother versus the machine, a raw, human defiance in the face of a galactic system that forgot what it means to love. In Anna Monroe, former social worker, current threat to the Accord, we dive into Anna's life before the tribunal, a gritty, aching portrait of a mother navigating post-contact Earth, where humanity is under galactic observation, but not fully trusted. Once a social worker, Anna now scrapes by doing odd jobs, constantly on alert to hide her son Eli's subtle but dangerous differences, a gift for sensing emotions too clearly, sometimes even hearing thoughts. The world sees these as anomalies. She sees them as beautiful. Eli's father, a galactic liaison, disappeared the moment Eli's abilities surfaced, leaving Anna to raise him alone in a world where love is not a strength, but a liability. The Galactic Accord views Earth as emotionally unstable, too primitive, too impulsive, and Anna's fierce protectiveness is twisted by their system into instability. But we see the truth. She's not unstable. She's unbreakable. As Anna begins to build a plan to fight back, Eli, now in a cold, alien academy where affection is forbidden and logic reigns, starts to shift. The warmth in his voice fades. The bond begins to fray. And with it, the central question emerges. Can human love, raw and imperfect, stand against a galactic empire that sees emotion as a flaw? In The Mother files an appeal. Anna Monroe finds herself in a dimly lit corner of a second-rate legal archive ship docked on the far edge of regulated space, clutching a datapad with trembling hands. The Galactic Custodial Tribunal had already ruled. Her son Eli was gone, relocated under official custody to a sterile alien academy. By now, he was likely sedated, evaluated, and being reconditioned for galactic compatibility. But Anna, worn, sleepless, and burning with the kind of fury only a mother can sustain, wasn't ready to lose. Not yet. In a moment of desperation, mixed with relentless digging, she finds it. Section 88E of the Galactic Accord, the right of species cultural defense, a legal remnant buried in an ocean of bureaucracy, used only 3 times in recorded history now unsuccessfully. It states that if a cultural or biological response is deemed essential for the survival or well-being of a sentient species, it may be legally protected under galactic law, provided it can be rationally demonstrated as beneficial to long-term survival or social cohesion. Anna doesn't fully understand the clause's significance at first, but as she reads it again slowly, carefully, the realization blooms like a nova. She's not just a grieving mother. She's a legal precedent waiting to happen. Filing the appeal is a bureaucratic nightmare. Earth doesn't have full galactic representation. Humans aren't even considered fully self-governing under the Accord. But Anna, having once navigated the cruel machinery of Earth's child welfare system, knows how to fight with paperwork and stubbornness. She uses outdated Earth terminals, calls in favors from overworked clerks who barely remember her name, and finally transmits a cultural defense petition. using a third-party diplomatic node on a mining freighter headed toward the Court appeal is laughed at literally. Galactic networks capture footage of alien pundits discussing the primitive human who believes maternal love is a legal strategy. Anna is called everything from a dangerous rogue geneticist to an emotionally unstable earthling invoking myth as law. The Judicariat almost throws it out, till one dissenter speaks up. Varl Cathix, an octopedal philosopher savant from the Relari swarm, publishes a fringe paper titled Emotion as Precursor to Cooperative Cognition, a human case study. It argues that Anna's case, while unusual, has merit. That love, specifically the parent-child bond in Homo sapiens, might indeed be an evolutionary mechanism too important to ignore. Other fringe thinkers, minority alien ethicists, outlaw researchers in exopsychology, begin rallying to her side. She becomes the unwilling center of a growing debate. Some accuse her of anthropocentrism, others of abusing legal loopholes, but a very few, begin to listen. When the Judicariat finally responds, it's with chilling formality. Her petition has been granted a one-time hearing. She will be allowed to argue for the protection of the human maternal bond as a legally valid cultural defense under Section 88.e. The conditions are brutal. First, no direct emotional appeals. Galactic law demands rational, measurable arguments, based in logic, data, and structured precedent. Second, she must act as her own legal representative. No Earth lawyers qualify for interstellar litigation. Third, she will only get one chance, one hearing, one verdict. If she fails, Eli becomes permanent state property, his humanity erased piece by piece in the name of cultural integration. The days leading up to the trial are hellish. Anna studies alien law, sleeps in refugee capsules on the outer rings of the courthouse moon, and tries against all instinct not to cry. A team of sympathetic volunteers begins forming around her, an insectoid archivist with a fondness for earth jazz, a disgraced academic who once wrote about emotional resonance in hive minds, and a juvenile alien orphan who reminds Anna too much of Eli. They help her build her case not around sentiment, but biology. She compiles studies on mirror neurons, limbic feedback, hormonal synchronization in mother-child pairs. She unearths documentation of human survival through care, even when logic would have dictated abandonment. She cites historical accounts, neurochemical models, and even comparative primate bonding studies to prove one point, that love is irrational, messy. Human love isn't just an emotion. It's a strategy, a defense, a form of intelligence. The day of the hearing, Anna walks into the chamber with her shoulders squared, her face taut with pain and determination. The Judicariat is vast, a cold arena of soundless judgment, layered with hovering platforms and non-corporeal entities. She stands alone in the center, heart pounding, as beings from across the galaxy observe her like a live experiment. The lead arbiter, a luminous energy wraith, known only as Jaisal, opens the proceedings. You may present your argument for the protection of maternal bonding. The word maternal hisses out like something alien and awkward. Anna nods and begins. She doesn't speak of lullabies or bedtime stories. She talks about cortisol and oxytocin, about case studies in early childhood trauma, about social collapse in orphaned colonies. She cites data showing that children raised without affection exhibit stunted empathy and lower cooperative behavior metrics even the Judicariat respects. She weaves evidence with structure, pain with precision. Her voice falters, once, just once, when she references Eli directly. Subject E112, also known as Eli Monroe, has shown elevated empathic resonance consistent with increased social cohesion, risk-averse cooperation, and predictive threat identification. His abilities do not emerge despite his mother's emotional bond, they emerge because of it. The chamber is silent. The stillness is vast, Then come the cross-exam. One alien prosecutor, a sentient AI cluster from the ice moons, accuses her of manipulation, calling love an unquantifiable contaminant in cultural progression. Another argues that allowing such a defense would unravel millennia of rational jurisprudence. Anna, battered but focused, responds, not with pleading, but with patterns. You claim love is chaos, she says, but it's the most reliable variable in human survival. It is what has kept our species together, generation after generation. You call it irrational. We call it instinct. By the end of the day, Anna collapses in a borrowed hostel pod, unsure of what she's even accomplished. Outside, galaxy-wide comm channels buzz with reactions. Some call her dangerous, others call her visionary. On Eli's Academy moon, the instructors take notice. He is no longer allowed unsupervised communication. They fear regression. But something in him, some sliver of warmth, rekindles. And Anna waits, alone, exhausted, hopeful. Because for the first time since Eli was taken, she isn't just a mother. She's a legal precedent, a voice for the unquantifiable, a human standing before the universe, daring to argue that love matters. And the trial begins, and humanity is on the stand. Anna enters the final stages of her fight, not just as a mother, but as a reluctant symbol of an entire species, one whose core traits the galaxy has deemed dangerously irrational. She is guided, begrudgingly, by Magrix, a cynical, many-tentacled legal advisor who regards human love as an evolutionary glitch. Fascinating, but delusional. Their sessions are cold and analytical, with Magrix constantly correcting her instinct to feel, to empathize, to care. Your affection must be translated into data, he says flatly. The court does not recognize tears, but Anna remembers. She remembers Eli's first panic attack at age 4, when he clutched her and said he could feel the sadness of his preschool teacher, a wound he couldn't name. She remembers the sleepless nights, the whispered reassurances, the way he would curl beside her as if the world made sense only when they were touching. She carries these memories like fire, but in court, she must smother the Galactic Council. Opens with precision, their voices like dry wind against stone. They present graphs, neurochemical charts, population simulations, and archival footage of human conflict, all to argue one thing, that love, particularly maternal love, is chemically unstable and socially unpredictable. They claim Anna's bond with Eli is a form of biological addiction, skewing her judgment, warping her perception. They show her Earth history, wars for children, parents defying law, emotion overturning order. Anna watches as alien data. Scientists reduce her life to variables and erratic behavioral charts. Then they play a recent clip from Eli's Academy. The boy who once overflowed with empathy now stares blankly into a camera, reciting facts without inflection. His voice is monotone, his gaze empty. He does not say her name. Anna's body shakes, but she holds her breath, clinging to Magrix's coaching. But when a tribunal member casually refers to Eli as Subject EM1027, pending social neutralization, something inside her ruptures. Her voice breaks. His name is Eli. He's my son, she cries. The chamber falls silent. Anna gasps as she realizes what she's done. Emotion in court, a direct violation of her own defense protocol. The council freezes the hearing for recalibration. Magrix looks at her with disappointment, but also, for the first time, with something close to respect. She nearly collapses afterward, buried in the horror that she may have sabotaged her own case, that to save her son, she must disown the very love she's fighting to defend. The conflict tears her apart. If she stays composed, she might win the court. But if she erases her emotions, will Eli even recognize her when she does? In Exhibit E, the heart memory. With her legal strategy unraveling and Eli slipping further into emotional silence, Anna makes a final, desperate move that could either destroy her case or redefine it forever. She submits a forbidden piece of human technology, a contraband heartprint, memory sphere, encoded with Eli's own neural patterns and crafted the night before he was taken. It's illegal in the court, emotional projection tech, banned for its unpredictability. But she invokes an emergency clause, arguing that if love is on trial, then the court must see it. The lights dim, the sphere activates, and suddenly, the cold, clinical chamber is filled with warmth. A multisensory holograph unfolds. Eli, 5 years old, coughing under blankets, Anna beside him, brushing his hair and whispering ancient earth lullabies. Eli lost in a crowd, shaking, and Anna's voice pulling him back from a meltdown, guiding his breathing until calm returns. Then his 6th birthday, one cupcake, one flickering candle, his face radiant as she sings. The projection is quiet, intimate, unbearably human. The galactic court, known for detachment, begins to crack. One Ralkeen judge, a species thought incapable of emotion, begins to weep openly, stunned by the sensations flooding her neural cortex. A machine-based intelligence cluster shuts down mid-analysis, unable to parse the sensory overload. A philosopher from the ice world, Niven, leans forward, whispering, "We believed love was just noise, but it appears it is code." Then the twist hits. An anonymous data leak reveals long-suppressed research buried deep in the Accord archives. Studies on early-stage emotional quantum cognition, the theory that empathy and love may be primitive forms of a higher intelligence, not flaws, but evolutionary breakthroughs. And only humans show consistent, replicable signs of it. The courtroom erupts in chaos. The prosecution scrambles. Tribunal members argue in layers of translation. Their composure shattered. Anna doesn't just win sympathy. She shakes the very definition of sentience. Suddenly, what was seen as primitive is now a frontier. Her son, once labeled a deviation, might be a prototype. And Anna, the grieving mother branded unstable, becomes a historic figure. The woman who forced the galaxy to admit that love, irrational, painful, beautifully human love, might not just be real, but intelligent. They called her dangerous. Now, they call her something else. The Judicariate delivers its ruling in a moment of quiet, history-altering magnitude. Anna Monroe is granted custody of Eli, not as an emotional concession, but as the result of a legal reclassification. The maternal bond is now recognized as a protected form of species-specific intelligence under Section 88.E. Yet the victory comes with conditions. Anna and Eli must reside aboard a newly commissioned research vessel in galactic core space, where their relationship will be observed, studied, and unspoken but understood, contained. It's not freedom in the way Earth would understand it, but it's not loss either. It's a beginning. She is the first non-diplomatic human to be embedded within galactic core governance. They offer her a sterile white housing unit, engineered for efficiency and compliance. She rejects it. Instead, she replicates the small comforts of Earth, a creaky couch, mismatched curtains, a kettle that whistles. Her new quarters smell faintly of cocoa and old wood. A rebellion in themselves. When Eli is returned to her, he is quiet, formal, his voice almost mechanical. His hugs feel like routines. But Anna doesn't force it. She waits, lets the silence breathe. Then, one evening, he makes a joke, dry, unexpected, familiar, and she laughs so hard she cries. The thaw has begun. The warmth seeps back in, not as a flood, but in ripples. A hand held a moment longer, a glance filled with mischief. Meanwhile, Magrix, the jaded alien who once dismissed love as chemical noise, submits his resignation. He requests Earth access clearance, stating, "I wish to study the contagion of irrational attachment in its natural habitat." On the galactic stage, Earth's status is quietly revised. It remains primitive, but a new footnote appears. evolving in unexpected directions. Further observation warranted. Anna, once branded unstable and dangerous, is now seen as something else, a pioneer, a cultural outlier, a mother who rewrote the court with nothing but memory, grief, and grit. Her fight was never just for Eli, it was for every overlooked instinct, every silenced voice, every species taught to believe that love was weakness. In the quiet of her new home among the stars, with Eli dozing beside her, Anna doesn't feel victorious. She feels steady, heard, and in that stillness, the galaxy changes, not with declarations or treaties, but with a mother's whisper that was finally recognized as truth. In the bedtime story, the ship is quiet deep in the galactic core, far from Earth's sky, wrapped in a silence so vast it feels sacred. Anna sits at the edge of Eli's small bed, its frame not quite right, the sheets too smooth, the lighting a soft approximation of moonlight designed by something that's never seen a moon. Eli, now free, but still healing, looks up at her with eyes that have seen too much. "Do they know yet?" he asks, voice barely above a whisper. "What love really means?" Anna smiles, brushing his hair back, her fingers gentle and patient. She kisses his forehead, the same way she always did, and murmurs, "No, but they will." Then she opens the old book, the one she packed in a hidden pocket, the one she read the night before they took him. The words flow soft and familiar, wrapping the room in a warmth that doesn't belong to any star system. As she reads, the ship hums, not with alarms, but resonance. A subtle shift in the environmental systems. The emotional sensors activate, quietly registering frequencies once dismissed as noise, comfort, safety, love. In the corner, a cold observer watches, an autonomous logic unit, shaped like nothing human, programmed to collect data. But tonight, it does something new. It mimics the rhythm of her voice, its tones adjusting, calibrating not to command, but to comfort. The moment passes unrecorded in any official log, but something changes, not loudly, not violently. Humanity came to the stars, not with weapons, not with conquests, but with bedtime stories. With whispers in the dark and a mother's steady voice. And in the long silence of space, that simple, irrational thing began to echo. And that changed everything.